So we've talked about the possibility of extension into the residential sector. Is there anything else that any of you identify that is done well in other states that you think that Queensland could learn from? Any takers that operate in other states?
I don't operate in other states as an adjudicator, but I always liked the WA model, albeit I know there's some issues in it, but the idea of it's a two-way street and nothing happens until you stick your hand up. That's what we need to have. If we want to have an actual dispute resolution process, if we think about that being the goal, which was always the intention, then we actually need to be looking at resolving the dispute, which means let the parties do what they need to do until such time as they stick their hand up and ask for help, and don't penalise them for what they've done prior to that point.
I think that was part of the issue about perhaps one of the reasons for the change is this perception that the ANAs were biased and it was ANA shopping or adjudicator shopping. If both parties are unable to take the matter to dispute, that problem almost instantly goes away.
Yeah, so depends what your ultimate goal is. There aren't dramatic differences around the East Coast, but the obvious one is Victoria. And I don't know whether it's good or bad, but the Act down there is much more limited than anywhere else on the East Coast. So there's it's limited in what you can claim in regard to variations, and typically you'd anticipate that it's in fact variations where arguments arise. But from the perspective of a fast system, that probably works best. They also have, every other eastern state, adjudicators can get an extension pretty much as long as the parties will agree to. In Victoria, it's 3 weeks and can't be any more than that. And so hence the simplicity, but it also means that the money flows pretty quick. So I'm no great fan of the Victorian system, but I can see some benefits depending on what the goal is. West Australia, Northern Territory, so the West Coast model, quite different to the East Coast. Depends which one you've worked in the most. I was doing a bit of work on the West Coast model for quite a while and I got to really like it. And I think the learnings, in fact, probably go from all three and including Queensland. I think the best change that can actually happen is related to the appointment of the adjudicator. So I do like the West Coast direct nomination capacity. They still have ANAs. I like the government central appointing, but I don't think it's working particularly well in Queensland, and that's why we're having some quality issues. So I agree that the ANAs, to some degree, addressed the quality issues, but they potentially brought other problems. So I think the best result would be to allow direct appointment by the parties, and that's got to be an agreed appointment, obviously. I'd stick with the QBCC or some other statutory body, but just need to lift the rigour around adjudicator training, CPD appointment. My understanding is at the moment it's pretty much a cab rank model, whereas it seems to be much more appropriate to appoint adjudicators with the appropriate skill and expertise to all the individual disputes, and that's what the ANAs used to do. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be happening here. So the direct appointment and still a single statutory body, but just better rigour around the appointments, I think would be the best outcome.